Greetings everyone! So we may have a 71st miracle officially recognized by Lourdes. Now that isn't to say that there haven't been many more miracles that have taken place there, but Lourdes has a very strict procedure for officially accepting something as a miracle. And so while there may have been thousands upon thousands of healings that have taken place at Lourdes, this could be the 71st one that is officially written up in the book at Lourdes that people can then look at if they wish to. The 70th miracle at Lourdes was recognized in 2018, and now we could have another one, potentially, although of course it's going to be investigated. Now, a short description was offered in an article by the Catholic News Agency, and it said, "What happened is that a pilgrim who suffers from several diseases and had very severe visual impairment after after washing her face," because what people do is they go over there and they wash their face several times, I think, and maybe even take a drink of the water that's over there, recovered her sight. This extraordinary event was immediately verified by the doctors, and the shrine was notified and has already recorded it. And further down it explains what actually takes place. So the pilgrims in the area of the baths, in an atmosphere of meditation, prayer, and trust in providence, wash their face 3 times and then take a sip, just as Saint Bernadette Soubirous did when she was directed to do that by the Immaculate Conception at the Virgin Mary at the Massabiello Grotto. We don't know a whole lot about who this pilgrim was, other than it was a woman, according to the title of the Catholic News Agency article. Possible miracle at Lourdes, almost blind woman recovers her sight. Now, it seems as though it was a partial healing, in the sense that this woman had various health issues, and one of those was that she had a serious problem with her eyesight, and that is what has been cured. According to this, she wasn't completely blind, but it says almost, so her eyesight was very poor, and she probably needed assistance from people to get around and so on. But the interesting thing about Lourdes, because of its stringent, strict rules for determining something officially a miracle, there are many people who have gone there who probably wouldn't even bother to get a healing officially accepted by Lourdes if they felt that it wouldn't meet the criteria necessary. For instance, if you had lots of serious pain in your body for a long time, and then you went there and suddenly, instantaneously, that pain was gone, it's not really something you could write up. It still probably was a miracle, but there's no way to prove that you've been suffering from pain. It's based on what you've said. You may have even been to the doctor with it, but it's based on what you told the doctor. And then suddenly you say you have no more pain. Again, that's based on what you said. There's no way to examine your pain, to see your pain on a screen while examining you. I mean, the article by CNA gives a lot of background about Lourdes, but I want to just show you this bit about just the strictness there that they have in relation to actually officially announcing that something is most likely a miracle. Apparently there are 7 criteria. It says these 7 criteria that doctors must take into account. The website of the Shrine of Our Lady of Lourdes also specifies the 7 criteria that must be observed during the medical investigation of cases. Before healing, the following must be taken into account. 1. The disease must be serious and have an unfavorable prognosis. 2. The disease must be known and catalogued by medicine. 3. The disease must be organic, lesional, and be examined by objective biological, radiological criteria. This means that even today, cures for pathologies will not be recognized without precise objective criteria such as psychological, psychiatric, functional, and nervous diseases, etc. Number 4, there should be no treatment to which the cure can be attributed. Number 5, the healing must be sudden, abrupt, instantaneous, immediate, and without convalescence. If you've been to Lourdes and you've had some kind of health issue, and then some days after being at Lourdes, you suddenly find yourself healed, that wouldn't be accepted because it needs to be instantaneous. It needs to happen pretty much right after you've been at the grotto or even immediately as you're there. And then there are 2 more criteria after healing that have to be considered. Number 6, it should not be a simple regression of symptoms, but rather a return to all vital functions. And number 7, it should not be a simple remission, but rather a cure that is lasting and definitive. So not just a case of things improved and got better, and then you go back into having this serious illness. So this is exciting. I think it's exciting. It would show that miracles are still happening in Lourdes. Sometimes people may look at somewhere like Lourdes and feel that this took place a long time ago, and perhaps there were a lot of miraculous healings right after the apparitions that Bernadette had, but since then there really haven't been any, or there have gotten to be less and less, and there's almost none now, if any. This would show that actually, no, that they are still happening. The great thing about apparitions generally is that you often learn things about them even afterwards. Like even when you think you've generally got a gist of what's happened somewhere, you'll find out little tidbits of information that you didn't know. For instance, with Fatima, I remember some time ago when I found out that actually Sister Lucia had received apparitions throughout her time in the convent as a nun. These were personal apparitions for her, and therefore we didn't get the messages passed on to us. You know, the ones that she, along with Jacinta and Francisco, had were messages that were to be told to the Catholic faithful. They were messages that the church was to receive and the Catholic lay people were to receive. But then later on she had numerous apparitions of Mary and Jesus while she was a cloistered nun, and those were for her to know. Those were probably more related to her life, but she continued to have them. That was something I didn't know long before, but then I found that out. And even with Lourdes, a little interesting story is that apparently Bernadette, when this was all going on, when she had seen the Virgin Mary and pilgrims started coming over there, she had, I think it was a younger brother of hers or some younger family member. And when one time somebody who was visiting a pilgrim asked her, I think younger brother, some directions or something like that, the younger brother told them, and then this person in gratitude gave him a coin, gave him some money. And he was really excited, and he ran over to Bernadette later and showed her this coin and said why he'd gotten it, because he helped this man with some directions. And she was really upset with him. She told him not to take any money from pilgrims, not to try and get any monetary gain from this whole situation where Mary has been appearing. She didn't like the fact that he was profiting from it, that he was monetizing it in some way. I mean, it was kind of innocent. He didn't ask for it. I'm sure he was just given it as a way to thank him, but she did not want him to do that. She didn't like the idea that anyone was making money off this. And, you know, in Lourdes, as in many apparition sites now, there are a lot of people making money off selling religious items. That just comes with the terrain, I suppose, now. But it's interesting to know that in Lourdes, Bernadette probably would not have been happy or isn't happy with what's happening now, perhaps. Although then again, I've heard it also said that perhaps the fact that people are able to sell some things to tourists is kind of a blessing as well, in some sense, that Mary appearing there has helped them be able to make some kind of a living, because these places are normally poorer areas, so these people there can actually make some kind of money and some kind of living thanks to the tourists who come. Anyway, folks, what do you think about this 71st potential officially recognized miracle at Lourdes? Let me know in the comments section. Thank you very much for watching the video. Have a blessed day.